अशी पडत पण ती एवढंच आहे जाड नाही झाली पोळीसाठी हा आणि गरम गरम म्हणजे तुमची भाजी आधी तयार पाहिजे मेथीची भाजी म्हणा किंवा
Good evening, friends. We would like to he is working as the divisional manager at Chembudio at Mumbai. He is a sports person, captain of cricket team of MRO5. He is also captain of carom team of MRO5. Being sports person, he is a team man and likes to invest his time on his team. He has been also coaching to a marketing team of New India as a faculty member. Hello, core faculty member. He has specialization in teaching his team how to get maximum marks out of any exam. So we are looking forward to an excellent session by Kaustubh sir. I would like to take this opportunity to say thanks to Dinesh Gobate sir, General Secretary, Bima Karmachari Sena, and office bearers of Mumbai Insurance Institute. Over to you, Kaustubh sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeevan. And good evening, all friends. Here, today is the opportunity given to me by Bharatiya Bima Karmachari Sena along with Mumbai Insurance Institute to have interaction with all of you. Am I audible to all of you? Please, one or two members can thumb the. Hello.
Actually, there's a lot of disturbance. Last class also we were bothered by this disturbance. Lot of noise.
Okay, just. Now, am I audible to all? You can send by
yes, audible.
Yeah, thank you. I'm Kaustubh Kulkarni, as introduced by Mr. Jeevan. I'm very thankful to Bharatiya Bima Karmachari Sena, who along with Mumbai Insurance Institute will be delivering you the lecture. This will be interacting session, and I would like to tell all of you that though we are thinking that the miscellaneous subject is a vast subject, and for out of that 30 questions we have to solve 25 and we'll have to get the maximum marks, but don't worry, we are here to support you to solve your miscellaneous paper out of all those 4 papers which you are going to solve. And today, from my side and from all of us, a very all the best to all the participants for today's session. And we'll start today's session. There will be 3 sessions today, tomorrow, and day after tomorrow. Each will be of 2 hours, and I will try to focus on major miscellaneous policies or major miscellaneous products wherein you will be interacting in the your examination, and you will be able to give the best of the answers in the examination by having all the 25 marks for this miscellaneous paper. So welcome all. Now we'll start with our PPT. Miscellaneous insurance will go one by one, and I will just show you the presentation. Okay, all of you might be seeing this PPT. All of you, yes, you can send any chat message that you all are viewing that. Okay, so miscellaneous insurance, though this is a vast subject, I will definitely give you the idea about solving the questions in your paper, and we'll go one by one. We know as general insurance in practice, and we all know that there are three major yes, 3 major types of general insurance: fire insurance, marine insurance, and miscellaneous insurance. Fire, marine, we will be getting different lectures, and we'll be well acquainted with those subjects also. For miscellaneous insurance, there are many products whom you are going to come across various products. To sum up with some of the products which we are going to deal today are given in this PPT. Those are personal accident, burglary, money, shopkeeper, householders, or these are the package policies: fidelity guarantee, bankers indemnity, jewelers block, pedal cycle, plate glass, neon sign, health insurance, overseas medical policy. Though there are some of the names of package policies written as shopkeepers, householders, this actually exam is of GIPSA or 4 companies. So the product name nomenclature may be different, but these are the package policies. And in miscellaneous insurance, the first insurance what we would like to interact with is the personal accident insurance. I will be somewhat fast in giving you certain of the ideas, because all of you are from scale 1 to scale 4 participant. You are all dealing in the operating offices, in controlling offices at your level, and you are acquired and you are having the knowledge of these policies as a product. But when we are interacting, I would definitely have an interaction wherein whatever are the questions which are creeping up in your mind, and to solve the general all these questions at the time of exam, the analyzing of the question, how you are analyzing it, how you are dealing with it, and how you are answering in it. So though we know the subject, at the time of examination you have to answer the pinpoint question, because unless and until you give the correct answer, there may be the possibility that 2 of the answers may be correct, but the GIPSA management or the promoting authority and the papers who are they are set by the authorities, they want the exact answer. So you have to give the pinpoint answer. The first of the product, personal accident insurance, we all know that this is a accidental insurance policy. It is dealing with the bodily injury or death to a person by the accident only. So here the basic definition which is given, which we should ought to understand, is that this policy covers any bodily injury and death or death resulting solely and directly. See, this point is very important. The accident or the bodily injury or death has to be the resultant after solely and directly from any accident. What do you mean by accident? It is a caused by external, violent, and visible means, and not aggravated by bodily defects or infirmities. So, for any of the bodily defects or infirmities which are already there for any person, and if he is claiming in any of the claims or any of your policy matters stating that this is due to accident which are previous one, or these are not aggravated by any bodily effects, then only those are covered. So basically, the policy covers bodily injury, death resulting solely means particularly or only due to accident. The accident should be a direct one. What is accident? It is external, violent, and visible means. That means any internal things which are happening, any internal injuries or any internal diseases, any internal sicknesses are not covered for under this personal accident insurance policy. These should be external, violent, and visible means. Secondly, although there may not be any loss of earning capacity, there still can be disablement under the policy. This is very important during question or whenever the persons who are dealing in personal accident claims, you might be coming across certain claims wherein the businessman had taken the policy, and after the accident, definitely he must be suffering from any of the disability, and after this disability still the business of his own is still running on. So what is mentioned here, although there not be any loss of earning capacity, there still can be disablement under the policy. The meaning of the phrase is that this policy is a fixed benefit policy. This policy is a fixed benefit policy, and we are giving the benefits which are fixed by the insurer at the time of claim payment. So this is a benefit policy. These are the deviation from the principle of indemnity under our general insurance. We know what is indemnity. You must have gone through the fire sessions wherein the principle of indemnity is very well clarified. And to know the personal accident policy and to solve any of the answers regarding the indemnity, we should know that this is a fixed benefit policy and these are not principles or not the strict principles indemnity policies. This is we ought to understand. Okay, there may not be any loss of earning capacity if he is a businessman. Still there is disablement, and the disablement or whatever loss of earnings can be paid to the our insured who is a businessman. That will go when we go to the other slides. The last one, fixed benefit policy. Yes, these are not policies of strict indemnity which we should ought to know. There are certain benefit chart. As we all know, there are 6 benefit chart which are generally in principle under personal accident insurance policy we give. These are accidental death, 100% of what? Capital sum insured. Loss of 2 limbs or 2 eyes or 1 limb and 1 eye. That is, if there is a loss of 2 limbs, there are loss of 2 limbs, or there are loss of 2 eyes due to any accident, the coverage is 100%. Or if there is any loss of 1 limb or 1 eye and 1 eye, the percentage payable is 100%. If due to accident only 1 limb or 1 of the eyes has totally lost, then the percentage of benefit is limited to 50%. If the permanent disability is there due to any accident, 100% of the sum insured is payable to the insured. Regarding permanent partial disablement, yes, we all know that due to accident there may be the permanent disability, but to some parts of the body. Say for example, a thumb is permanently disabled, or some 4 fingers are permanently disabled in the accident. This type of disablement is a permanent type, but it is partial in nature. The loss of 1 limb is a permanently disablement, but loss of fingers or loss of thumb, maybe loss of ears, all these comes under permanent partial disablement clause. The disablement is permanent, that is, it is irreparable, that cannot be again come in existence for any of the work, but those are partial type of disablement. How much percentage the claim is to be given? Then this percentage is as per the table under the policy, and as per the disability, the percentage varies. So this may vary from 1%, 2%, 5% up to say 75%. This may vary. So this is permanent partial disablement. The last one, temporary total disablement. This temporary total disablement is the maximum claim prone table or benefit, you may say, because whenever there is any accident occurs, the claims which are arising and which are coming to any of the department, the maximum numbers of claims are coming of this temporary total disablement. What do you mean by this temporary total disablement? Yes, the disablement is total in nature, but it is for a temporary period. The disablement is total, but it is temporary. That is for certain weeks, for certain months, for certain days. This compensation is there due to accident. So the weekly compensation is payable to the insured. The weekly compensation is payable to the insured at the rate 1% of capital sum insured, subject to maximum of 104 weeks. So this is the benefit chart. The different companies may have the different tables of A, B, C, D. The risk groups are 1, 2, 3.
Hello, excuse me, sir. 104 week or 100 week?
See, the compensation is 104 weeks. That is, as we know that 104 weeks, but subject to capital sum insured. That is,
Sir,
whatever is your sum
1%
insured.
1% of the capital sum insured or 100 week is not suitable. 100 week. Some literature show 100 week.
Yeah, some literature shows there is a question that some literature shows 100 weeks, some in our insurance institute book it is 104 weeks. So the question, if any of the ambiguity or this 100 weeks or 104 weeks, any of the ambiguity is there in the certain question, those type of questions will not be asked. They might give you the calculation, they might give you the the example wherein you have to solve that example by giving the compensation. But if there is any ambiguity regarding the weeks, the questions will not be asked like this. But this is a general thing. Wherever any such type of questions comes in your mind that there may be any ambiguity, such type of questions will not be asked in the examination. That you rest assured, because there will be difference of opinion amongst the student. So this will not going to happen. The general criteria or the general when we are giving any of the temporary total disablement, we are giving under table A B C D, what we'll see afterward. And under the table A, we are restricting the sum insured up to maximum 2 years. That is, the 2 years comes to 104 weeks. So this formula has arrived at, previously as a one of the student asked, it is 100 weeks. Now it is showing as 104 weeks, but these are the general nomenclature which are given under personal accident insurance policy. So we are having all the benefit chart with us. Now we'll move on to our next slide. We all know the personal accident coverage is 24 hours and it is on worldwide basis. See, I am talking about personal accident insurance policy of individual in nature. I'm not talking about any of the group insurance policies or group personal accident policies where you all know there are on duty covers, off duty covers. Then in that case, this 24 hours will not come in picture. But as an individual personal accident policy, what are the features? These the coverage is 24 hours and on a worldwide basis. These are the worldwide basis covered. Suppose a person staying in India, if he is going on a tour or a holiday anywhere in the world, and if he is suffering from any of the injuries, death or disability due to accident, yes, our sum insured, whatever is under the policy, it is payable, because this is a worldwide basis policy. Secondly, travel as a passenger in a licensed standard type of aircraft is automatically covered. That means when a person is boarding any of the aircraft and he is traveling as a passenger, please note he has to travel as a passenger, not as a pilot or crew member or something in that type of occupation, but as a passenger. Then yes, this policy is covering whatever are the compensation payable as per the personal accident norms. The third special feature, medical expenses on payment of extra premium. So in general, when we are coming across all these types of personal accident claims, what are the medical expenses coverage? Medical expenses can be covered. It is optional thing by paying 20% extra premium, and the claim percentage or how much we can pay is 10% of the sum insured or 40% of the admissible claim amount or the actual medical expenses. Now there are many questions which are creeping up in our mind, is that what we mean by medical expenses. Suppose due to any of the accident, a person is hospitalized for his injuries, and whatever are the medical expenses which is incurred due to accident, it is payable. But apart from that, suppose if a person is injured due to accident and he is not hospitalized, but still there are expenses which are incurred by the person, those are all medical expenses, and the person is not hospitalized. Still these medical expenses are payable to the insured on payment of this extra premium of 20% up to certain limits. What are those limits? 10% of sum insured, or 40% of the admissible claim amount, or actual expenses, whichever is lower. So what are the admissible expenses, or what is the admissible claim amount? The claim amount, if suppose the claim amount due to any of the fracture, the sixth benefit what we learned earlier is a permanent, it was partial, but it was permanent but temporary in nature. So though that temporary disablement or temporary total disablement, what we call, for any of the fracture, at that time the expenses are incurred, and these are not the expenses which are primarily incurred at the hospital. Secondly, the person who is incurring those expenses will have to produce the claim to the insurer. The insurer will assess how many weeks the compensation is payable according to the disability. When the disability period is defined, whatever is the claim paid to the insured, that claim is the admissible claim, and 40% of that admissible claim amount is payable to the insured. So there is a difference between 10% of sum insured. Say for example, 1 lakh rupees is the sum insured. The amount of medical expenses payable maximum will be 10%, that is 10,000. But due to accident, the fracture has occurred, and the fracture, their compensation payable as per the weekly benefit is for say 10 weeks. Then it is again 1% of sum insured comes to 10,000. Then in this case, the amount payable will be 10,000, subject to what are the medical expenses the person has incurred. Suppose the medical expenses incurred, the bill submitted by the insured is say 6,500. In that case, the amount payable or the claim payable under medical expenses will be 6,500. This is in a nutshell. I am going to, I have given you the brief idea, because whenever you are giving the examination, the logical answer, whatever you understand by the product, it is analyzed at the time of examination. The amount and the numerics, those are not asked in a total, but what you understand and what is your perception about these all products and what you are going to deliver at the time of examination is very important. And for that, these type of sessions are and interactions are required from all of you.
Sir, one question I want to ask. Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, you said it is a 10% of the sum, 10% of the sum insured.
Yeah.
So 10,000 claim will be payable.
Yeah.
And or the 40% of the claim amount.
Yeah.
Under the medical expenses.
Yeah.
So medical expenses are 6,500. So how much will be paid? It is a 6,500 or
40% of the admissible claim amount. So 40% of the admissible claim amount of that 10,000 will come to 4,000 rupees.
4,000.
Okay, your 10%
so he will
sum
be paid
insured
4,000.
is 10,000. The expenses incurred is 6,500. In this case, the amount payable will be 4,000 only. So whatever is the lower amount, that will be paid. So the sum insured is 10,000. Your medical expenses incurred is 6,500, but 40% of the admissible claim amount of that 10,000 will come to 4,000. So the amount of payment for the insured will be 4,000.
Okay, thank you, sir. Yeah.
Then war and allied risk. Yeah, working in foreign countries on civilian duties can be covered at 150 or 250% loading on premium. Generally, when we are knowing all these products from the point of view of examination in our general practice also, that war and allied risks are not covered, or whatever are the injury, disablement or anything, the war risks are not covered. But the civilian duties, the work war and allied risk can be extended by paying 150 or 250% loading on premium to the worker, those persons who are working in foreign countries but on civilian duties. This is the add-on cover which can be availed by the insured person. The cumulative bonus, the certain policies gives cumulative bonus from 5% to maximum 50%. Again, this may vary from company to company. So this is a added extra benefit. So cumulative bonus, yes, if there is no claim, the cumulative bonus is given to the insured, and this may go on whenever there is no claim. These are all add-on covers which we are discussing. Carriage of dead body, 2% of capital sum insured, or rupees 2,500, whichever is less. This is the additional features what we are giving apart from the sum insured. So these are the only the sum insured. Suppose the sum insured is 1 lakh, the cumulative bonus has gone up to 50%, that is 50,000. How much will be the claim payable at the time of death due to accident to insured person? 1,50,000. So likewise, the add-on covers of carriage of dead body, the cumulative bonus, the education fund, like for one dependent child below 25 years of age, 10% of capital sum insured subject to maximum rupees 5,000 or 10,000 if more than one dependent child. These are all benefits which are given, which is in addition to the sum insured. So this is applicable on capital sum insured and not on including cumulative bonus. Whatever are the percentage which are given here, it is on the capital sum insured and not including the cumulative bonus. So this is a very important thing at the time of examination. When you are solving any questions, you might come across these type of questions in the examples. This
what is education fund in this policy, sir? Can you explain it, sir?
Education fund is given to the for education of the dependent child. Education fund, that is the school fees and whatever are the expenses incurred for their education, for the child education, it is given to the if the dependent child are below 25 years, then definitely it is given to the spouse or whoever is there. So, and this dependent child of more than the education fund is limited to educational expenses which are incurred. But this is not the as you might be thinking that the fees structure or the fees receipts are to be provided. This is a benefit policy. So if there is any death to the proposer, the insured, which is father, mother, so in that case, this is education fund. By way of education fund, this amount is payable to the dependent child. If one child, rupees 5,000. If more than one child, it is 10,000. So though it is related to education fund, it is treated as funds which are utilized for the education of the child. So definitely the education things are to be considered. And while settling the claim also, this can be given to the dependent children or the spouse or whoever is the nominee in that case. So these
Thank
are
you,
the
sir.
add-on benefits.
Hello.
Hello.
Kaustubh, one more thing to be added, that these benefits will be only on the death of the person.
Yeah, this education fund is available in case of death of the insured person. See, education fund doesn't mean that in case of any disabilities or in case of any permanent things or in case of any of the temporary total disablement, this will come in picture. Education fund is at the after the death of the insured person, these benefits are available.
Any limit on the number of childs, like how many children can be covered? Is it?
No, this is for more than one dependent child, the maximum coverage is 10,000. So there may be one dependent, more than one dependent, that is 2, maybe 3, but the maximum coverage is 10,000.
Okay,
10% of sum insured, capital sum insured, maximum 10,000.
Yeah, thanks.
The exclusion part, this is again a very important part we should know regarding personal accident. I will go one by one, but there are certain things which will come across and we ought to know are the some of the definitions given here. First thing is that exclusion, intentional self-injury, attempted oblique suicide. So what is this attempted suicide or intentional self-injury? If any type of suicide, the self-intentional injury are not covered in personal accident policy. So many of our marketing teams or the agents, they are asking us that in life insurance policies, they are covered after certain years, but in personal accident, whether those are covered after certain years or not. No, intentional self-injury or suicide is not covered. It is the exclusions under personal accident policy. Influence of intoxicating liquor or drugs. Again here, any type of influence of intoxicating liquor or drugs and death or any bodily injury occurs due to accident also, but the person is under influence of liquor or drug, that is not covered. So here definitely the questions are creeping up in our mind that suppose in a car, see say 2 or 3 persons are going in a car, and the person who is sitting behind the car, though he is under the influence of liquor or drug, but he is not driving the vehicle. So if there is any accident, what will happen to the claim if death occurs in the accident? So again, I repeat that the exclusion column says that influence of intoxicating liquor or drugs, the alcohol or drugs, if it is consumed, then the person is under the influence of this intoxicating liquor or drug. So the claim is not payable. Here again, the second thought comes in for other example, which I want to share with you, that the person there are certain personalities or persons who are under the medication. They're taking some medicines, and we all know that in some or many of the medicines there is some content of the alcohol. So in that case, what will happen? Definitely the intoxication of liquor or drugs. So these alcohols, when they are in any of the medicines or this, and this is a general practice, it is not under the influence of any intoxication, then in that case again the claim will be settled on the merits. So according to the post-mortem report, according to the police authorities report, the claims will be settled. So this is very important exclusions which will have to deal with if any questions comes like this. Engaging in aviation. What is engaging in aviation? I told earlier that if you are a person who are boarding in a flight as a passenger, it is covered under personal accident policy. But if you are a person who is engaging in aviation, you are a pilot, a co-pilot, or a crew member, then this is under the exclusion. So the claim will not be payable if you are engaging in any aviation formalities or any aviation procedures. Any breach of law with criminal intent. Technical breaches of law are not excluded, like traffic offenses. I will give you one of the classic examples. In our Mumbai and suburb areas, we are traveling to a far distance from our hometown to our offices, and many a times it happens to catch a train, a local train. We cross the rails, and we are not using the overbridge. We are not using the overbridge, but to catch the train, we are crossing the rails. So suppose any accidental death or disability claim comes to you, wherein the person who has suffered the injuries by crossing such type of rail to catch a train. Definitely, this is a breach of law. Yes, the railway authorities or the government of India, they are also in their law has stated that do not cross the rails. But the person has breached the law to catch the train to go to the office and have the duties done. So in this case, what will happen? Yes, there is a breach of law, but this is a technical breach of law, and this is not excluded. So this is a point to be noted from all of you. So any of the technical breaches, but yes, again, definitely this is to be proved that whether this is a breach of law by technical means or by criminal means, because the exclusion says any breach of law with criminal intent, it is not covered, but any breach of law is a technical breach, or it is a breach due unintentional or not criminal, then in that case the claim is payable on the merits, subject to all the paperwork and all the police formalities, wherein it is to be proved that this breach of law is a technical and not, there was no criminal intention of the person who has suffered the injuries. War and nuclear perils, yes, I told you, these are the exclusions from childbirth or pregnancy. So any accidental disablement or injuries due to this childbirth or pregnancy are not covered. Now the classification of risk, we all know there are three type of risk groups: risk group 1, 2, 3. According to the degree of hazard of their occupation, the risk groups are defined. Risk group 1, these are some accountant, doctors, lawyers. These are persons primarily engaged in administrative functions. So these are the persons who are having the least risk of any accident compared to the other two risks. Risk group 2, contractors, builders, drivers, veterinary doctors, professional athletes, all these are persons who are engaged in manual labor. Risk group 2 is the risk group which is hazardous as compared to risk group 1. So these are the persons engaged in manual labor. Risk group 1, persons are engaged in the administrative function. Risk group 3, this is the most hazardous group or most risky group, we can say. These persons, they are engaged in the activities of jockeys or circus personnel, working in mines with explosives. It may happen that some of the persons who are in the risk group of 1, say after a certain period of the policy, they may change their profession, they may change their occupation, and maybe in the other risk group. So it is the duty of the insured to disclose to the insurance company, the insurer, regarding the occupational change and according to the risk group change. So whenever these type of interactions come to you with the insured, and at the time of exam also, the question may ask that a person who is working as a in a company, and after 6 months he has changed his job, and for a better opportunity, though he was an engineer, he is now working in mines who are dealing with explosive. So in that case, and if the claim comes due to any explosion in mines or something sort of that, in that case the claim is not payable, because the occupation has changed and the person, the insured, has not represented or not informed the insurance company that he has changed his occupation from say the administrative function to the or the engineering function in general company to the working in mines with explosive. So this is these type of questions may be asked in the examination. Winter sports and the persons engaged in activities of similar hazard. So there are these risk groups 1, 2, and 3.
One question, sir.
Yeah.
If an engineer is working as an means administrative job, but for a few days, for 1 to 3 days, he visited a mines as an on deputation, will it be covered?
See, the question asked by one of the student is that the person is in administrative status, he's an engineer, and he is visiting one of the mine for a day or two, say for supervision, say for any type of administrative thing work which is there. So the merits of the case has to be analyzed at the time of accident, whether the person was working in mine or whether he was under doing only supervision, or for any of the paperwork he has gone to nearby mines to know some of the thing, the administrative thing. See, if the person has done any work for any of the administrative functions and has visited the working the mines, then definitely it will be covered. But the person has gone there to work in the mine with the explosive, and if anything happened, definitely the claim will be in trouble. because whatever are his occupation, it is to be analyzed at the time of claim. The person in administrative in nature and visiting mine, but for the administrative thing only and not actual working in mines, then definitely that claim would be given on the merits. But if the engineer has visited the mine and worked there with the explosive, then definitely the claim will be in trouble. Okay. Things to remember: age limit 5 to 70 years, risk groups 1, 2, 3, risk group 1, risk group 2, risk group 3, CSI, capital sum insured, permanent total disablement, permanent partial disablement, temporary total disablement. These are some of the key points or abbreviation. Accident definition: external, violent and visible, solely and directly. So this is the definition of accident. Fixed benefit policy, as I discussed with you, not strict contracts of indemnity. These are not strict contracts of indemnity, but this is a benefit policy. Worldwide 24 hours cover. Fixed benefit policy, apart from the person may have many of the life insurance policy, they may have a group personal accident policy, still this policy will come in picture and we have to settle the claim. So the contribution clause or something sort of that will come in picture or not? No, these are not the contracts of indemnity. So this is a fixed benefit policy. Now we'll move on to group personal accident policy. This is same as per personal accident policy when you are giving any of the compensation, but there are certain deviations. What are those deviations? That this will be under a group. The group has to be a homogeneous group. What is homogeneous group? The some common relationship among the persons to be insured and a central point for administration of the policy scheme. So there has to be a relationship with the owner of the factory or the there may be a club and member, there may be a bank and the employees, there may be any of the credit society and their employees, there may be the members of the credit society and the credit society as a principal. So these are the common groups or homogeneous group, and for them only we can give the policy. But suppose if there are say 100 persons which are in communication with each other, like a WhatsApp group or a Telegram group, and they form a group and saying that we want to have a group personal accident policy, there is no common relationship between them to ascertain a homogeneous status of that group. So in that case, the relationship is not a common, so we are unable to give any of the group personal accident policy to such type of group. So our policies are given to the homogeneous group only. So there has to be a common relationship among the person. No insured person has an independent right of action against the insurer. That means the insured person cannot claim directly as an individual in capacity, but he has to come through the organization, through a club or whatever, because the policy is taken by a club, organization or any of the company. Cumulative bonus, education grant, these type of add-on covers which are applicable in individual policy are not applicable in group personal accident policy, because all these benefits are given to the individual policy holders. Medical expenses, war risk extension, these can be available but with the payment of extra premium. Sum insured can be linked to whatever earnings payable to the insured. Insured means insured person. So the sum insured has to be restricted to the amount of earnings of that insured persons. Group personal accident policy, some of the other benefits are Premium dependent on profession, activity involved in. Definitely, the degree of hazard is to be taken in consideration while issuing the policy. On-duty covers, off-duty covers, as I told you earlier, for reduction of the premium, the employer may ask for certain type of discounts wherein they want to cover their employees on duty only, or they may come to you with the off-duty covers if they are having some other benefits given to those employees while they are on duty. So in that case, for on-duty covers, whatever is the premium when we are calculating, we can give 25% discount. That is, the percentage applicable will be 75% in case of on-duty and 50% in case of off-duty cover. Exclusion of death cover, yes, this type of the features can be asked by the employer to you when they are having a group life policy with them. So whenever they are having a group life policy, they will ask you to exclude the death cover and they will require only the disability cover for their employees. So in that case also, you can give this type of facility, and according to the company, the premium may vary. Group discount, yes, more than 100%, there will be group discount. The persons, though there are lesser than 100%, there is a question in all of our mind that the group can be formed and it is to be given when their persons are 100 or more than 100. In general, the policies are issued for the persons up that is 100 persons or more than 100%, but you can issue a policy for lesser than 100 persons also, but in that case the group discount will not come in picture. Any physical infirmity or defect, disability prior to the commencement of cover, or any cumulative effect as a result of such disability stand excluded. So definitely when we are asking for any of the data from the employer for their group personal accident policy, and we have to ask to all these employer about any of the disability or defect of the insured person at the time of inception, because there should not be any non-disclosure or misrepresentation of this material fact at the time of claim. So these type of any of the defects or disability which are prior to the commencement of the cover, that has to be disclosed by the employer or the organization, and those are deleted, those are excluded from the scope of cover of the policy. Side insurance coupons, yes, this is again a personal accident.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, is it 24 hours worldwide cover group policy?
Hello.
The individual policy is 24 hours worldwide cover.
Right.
What is the difference between individual, whether group policies are for 24 hours worldwide cover?
See, basically group person, the question asked by one of the candidate is that whether this group personal accident policy is as we have discussed on duty covers and off duty covers of 75% and 50%, whether this policy can be given for 24 hours and that too for a worldwide basis, right sir?
Yes sir, that is my question.
Yeah, the question is that, see, group personal accident policies are also the personal accident policies given for 24 hours and a worldwide cover. But this group personal accident policy, if it is restricted by the employer or by the organization by certain restriction, then we can give the discount. So in group personal accident policy, whatever are the benefits as per personal accident policy can be given or are given, but the employer or the organization, if they deem to save the premium or whatever their contract with the employees, they can ask you for these on duty covers or off duty cover. So this group personal accident policy can be availed for 24 hours, that too worldwide cover. Yes, we can give. Right, sir?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Flight insurance coupons. Passenger flight coupon provides cover for accidental bodily injury while embarking, disembarking from, or traveling in any aircraft operated by a regular airline over a scheduled route as a passenger during the flight specified. it is provided here. This is a flight coupon insurance. We all know that this is this covers accidental bodily injury while embarking, disembarking from, or traveling in any aircraft operated by a regular airline. So generally, those airlines or these type of organization, they took these type of flight insurance coupon for their passengers. The cover can be for specific flight or for a specific period of time. So this option is given to the airline whether to have coverage for a specific flight or for a specific period. This is as per their requirement we can give. The declaration policies can be issued to individuals or companies for frequent flyers. Yes, the declaration policies also can be given to the individuals or companies for frequent flyers. These are there may be many of the flights. There may be airlines which are having a fleet of many of the flights. So they may ask for this declaration policy, and the individuals also can be issued this type of declaration policies in a flight insurance coupon mode. Again, personal accident policy for students, because when we are seeing all the benefit chart, we learn that those persons who are having any of the earning capacity, those are covered under personal accident policy. Yes, apart from that, there is a family package cover wherein the spouse who is a housewife or the dependent children are also covered up to certain sum insured under a family package policy. But apart from any earning capacity members, if the persons who are a student and they want a safety insurance, this can it be given to the individual student? Individual student cannot take this policy, but it is available to schools, colleges, or other educational institution wherein they want to have the safety or accidental benefit to their student. So this is commonly called as student safety insurance, wherein the accidental death, accidental disability is given, or this benefit is given to the student of that educational institution. What are the certain criteria which is very important for this type of policy is that the students has to be the registered student of that educational institution. So not only school, college, but many of the private tuitions or the private coaching classes, they are taking these type of policies. But here the main important feature or the main important thing to remember is that the registered students are covered under the student safety policy. All the students has to be covered. I again repeat, there will not be any selection for the student. Like the school may say that I want to cover only the students up to say 5th standard. I want to cover the students up to say 10th of the class members only. So this type of the selection is not allowed, because though these are the registered student, this is a named policy. We have to cover all the students of the school, college, or educational institution. Yes, it may happen that the educational institution may have some school, one school in Thane, other school in Kalyan, the other school in maybe Mumbai. So the every school authority may take this type of policy. Yes, they are having this privacy, or they can take this type of policy for the school, though the educational institution for a whole of say 50,000 student or 1 lakh student may not take the policy, but a school or college in the vicinity of any of the city, they may take such type of policy, and yes, that can be allowed. But the thing is that all students are to be covered under this student safety policy. Additions are allowed. I repeat, additions are allowed, but deletions are not, because generally we know that additions, some students may be added say after 1 or 2 months after the educational institution has started their education in the month of May or June. There may be addition at the after 1 or 2 months, or maybe midterm. So these type of additions are allowed, but any type of deletion, though it may happen that school may debar some of the students. There may be some cases, there may be a death due to any of the disease, or there may be the parents of that student might have shifted to some other place. So in that case, the school authorities may come to you for a refund. That is, after the deletion of these students, they may ask you for the refund. But in general principle, for the student safety insurance, the deletions are not allowed. Deletions are not allowed means if you delete the student, the refunds are not processed. The refunds cannot be allowed. Maintenance of attendance register. Yes, the attendance register has to be maintained by the school authorities. Claim amount payable to the parent guardian as recorded in the school register if the policy is issued in the name of this educational institution. So this is again the claim is payable, or the amount is payable not to the student, but it is payable to the parent or guardian, because the premium what is payable by the school authorities, if it is complimentary, then the school authority will pay. But suppose if the school has charged some amount from the parents or guardian, so in this type of scenarios, amount of claim is to be paid to the parent or guardian, though the student may be more than 18 years old or maybe 20 years old. In that case also, as per the policy guidelines, the claim is payable to the parent or guardian. The compensation limit, see again, this compensation limit what I have described here is a general compensation limit. This may vary, so it need not be the fixed structure like per student 10,000 or per accident 5 lakh, per policy period 10 lakh. This is a general compensation limit I have described, and definitely the question these type of questions will not be asked. This is to understand what will be the compensation limit. The compensation limit is like AOA and AOY limits, like any one accident and policy period sum insured, and there will be restriction for the limits of indemnity or the limits of liability for per student basis. So this is a compensation of limit criteria in case of student safety insurance. So that was all about personal accident policy, the group personal accident policy, flight insurance coupon, and the student safety insurance. It may appear that I may be fast, but we have to go for various products under this policy. So I am somewhat fast in delivering all these miscellaneous products. Second is, but if you are having any doubts, you can very well ask, so that it is benefited for the other students also. Now next product is burglary business premises policy. What is burglary? Yes, burglary, there are many definitions under this burglary policy, and we will come across these definitions along with their sections, because these type of sections under the IPC will be may be asked in your examination, and you ought to know what we mean by burglary, housebreaking, dacoity, hold up, and all sort of nomenclature. So burglary is defined as what? It is a theft of property from the premises described following upon felonious entry of the said premises by violent and forcible means. The burglary is defined, it is a theft only, but that theft has to be by the entry in the premises due to any of the violent and forcible means. This is important thing. What is violent? What is forcible? These are there may be some threat given to the owner, there may be some threat given to the organization or the person who is in that premises, and the whatever are the property it is stolen from that premises, it is covered under burglary policy. So violent and forcible doesn't mean the breakage of the doors or breakage of any of the walls, but forcible means if any of the these type of persons who are coming in the business premises and having any of the armed pistol or revolver with them, or any of the knife with them, and if he's threatened one of the cashier or the owner of the organization and want to have the property in their possession, this type of force is also called as forcible mean. So what is burglary? Burglary is theft of the property, but it should be by the violent and forcible mean. Second one, theft by a person in the premises who subsequently breaks out by violent and forcible means, provided there shall be visible marks at the place of such entry or exit by tools, explosive, electricity, or chemical. So these are some of the burglary definitions or burglary pictures which is given by this type of definition. But this type of force, I stated it in my third point, the use of force and violence need not be against property only, it can be against an individual also. So there may not be any breakage of the wall or the door, main door or the exit door, but the force is applied against any individual also, that is again covered under the burglary policy. So a classic example wherein it may be asked in the examination also, that whilst in the business premises, some of the persons or the clients or the visitors who are coming inside the your business premises, and one of the thief or one of the person who want to take possession of your property may be there in your premises, and before locking of the premises, the person or the security guard may not know that the person is there inside your premises. And after the closing of the business hours, every person had left the premises, the person who is there inside the business premises may acquire the possession of all the property, because he had come there with the bad intention of burglary. He has taken the possession of the property and may leave the exit or the entry door by force. So this is not at the time of entry, but at the time of exit, the force is applied. Still, our policy covers these type of claims. So the claims are processed on the merits, wherein it may be argued that there is a negligence on part of the insured, or negligence on part of that owner, wherein the security person or the persons who are engaged in their factory or the shop, they have not given attention to any of the person who is hiding in the premises. But still, if such type of force is applied by the person who is inside the premises without knowledge, without intention, or these type of burglary might happen, and as per the merits of the case, this can be covered. This is very important in case of burglary. The policy covers contents of business premises against the risk of loss or damage by burglary and housebreaking only. So the loss or damage by burglary or housebreaking, the business premises contents are covered under the burglary policy. Fire risk is covered by issue of separate fire policy. The property insured is covered only if loss or damage takes place whilst contained in the premises described in the schedule. So whatever are stated in our schedule of the policy, that property which is insured, it is only covered, and the property which is not in the premises and away from the premises, those are not covered under burglary policy. What type of properties which are covered in this burglary policy? Those may be stock, those may be goods held in trust or on commission, for which the insured is responsible. Yes, here we would like to know that whatever are the goods which are held in trust and or commission, for which the insured is responsible, definitely it has to be the registered, or the record has to be maintained by the insured person, because unless and until these records are provided, and in case of any of the claims, if these type of goods held in trust or commission are not supplied by the proper information, those will not be covered. And whenever the person is taking of these type of policies under this burglary, they have to specifically mention what type of property they want to cover. If they are saying that the stocks are covered, definitely the business stocks are covered as a property in the policy. If they want to take the goods held in trust, definitely the insured person has to declare the goods held in trust to be covered with the specific amount. It is not a total wherein the stock in trade, say 10 lakh, and in that 10 lakh, the goods held in trust are also covered. No, for a goods held in trust, a separate sum insured has to be mentioned by the insured person at the time of burglary policy. Cash, currency, yes, cash and currency are covered provided they are logged in safe. So this type of property is also covered in burglary policy. Fixtures and fittings, tools of trade, yes, those are covered. The fixtures, fittings and tools of trade, many a times it happens that due to burglary, due to housebreaking, the fixtures and fittings, those are damaged, though they are not stolen by the thief or those persons, the burglar, but those are damaged. The fixtures and fittings are damaged due to this type of burglary. Yes, in that case, the whatever are the damages, those are also payable under burglary policy, because the proximate cause is burglary. Loss or damage, the theft or the stolen of material of fixture and fitting are covered under the policy, but apart from that, if there is any damage, those are also covered under burglary policy. Loss or damage to any part of the building caused by the burglary or any attempt therefore is also covered. So many of our insured, and we also suggest them that the building is not covered, that is not part of the burglary policy. But in that case, loss or damage to any part of the building caused by the burglary or any attempt therefore is also covered if the building is also covered and it is a part of their property. So what property we can cover? Stock, goods held in trust, cash, fixture, the building, all these type of property can be covered under burglary insurance. While starting of our burglary section, I told you there are certain sections of Indian Penal Code which we ought to know from the exam point of view. These are what? Housebreaking, theft, robbery, dacoity, burglary, holdup. I have narrated some of the sections here. What you know, what you need to understand is that the housebreaking, theft, robbery, dacoity or burglary, these type of things are the gathering of a person. See, for example, a person, single person might come and have the burglary or theft in the premises. That can be termed as theft. But if the number of persons are more than one, that may be 3 or 4, then it can be a robbery. If that is more than say 5 or 6, that is a dacoity. So according to the number of persons who are coming to the premises and doing these type of criminal activities, according to the number of persons, the definition of this burglary changes, and this definition is changing as per the sections of the IPC. So housebreaking, it may be termed as a burglary and housebreaking, but robbery, dacoity, holdup, all these type of coverages are included in our burglary business premises policy. Theft, I have given you the example, the narrations also about this. Theft is what? Dishonestly taking away movable property out of the possession of any person without the consent of that person. Burglary, taking and carrying of property from premises following the felonious entry or exit. I have given here the entry or exit. There may be forcible entry, there may be forcible exit. So the burglary will come in picture. The presence of visible mass, yes. The forcible entry or exit can be established. Robbery, the voluntarily causing any person death or hurt or wrongful restraint or fear of instant death or hurt or wrongful restrainment in order to commit a theft. So this robbery will come in picture. Whenever a robber or these type of persons, when they are entering the business premises, they may give threat to the person without actually harming the person. So the threat or this fear of instant death or hurt is by a wrongful restraint or wrongful restraint are all coming under robbery. So robbery wherein the threat is given or there is a fear of death or any hurting or the injury to that insured person, then that will be under section 390 of IPC, and that is a robbery. Housebreaking, section 445 of IPC. What is housebreaking? Committing house trespass by effecting entrance into the house or already being in the house for purpose of committing an offense or having committed an offense, effecting forcible exit. So the example which I gave you regarding the person who is there in the premises and after robbery or after this type of burglary, he has left the premises by forcible exit. So that will come under this housebreaking section. That is section 445. Dacoity, when 5 or more persons, armed persons or otherwise, when they jointly commit or attempt to commit a robbery, this is termed as dacoity. So robbery is definitely a threat or any of the fear to the insured given by the person and due to which the burglary has happened. But the robbery is, but the dacoity is a type of robbery only. This is attributed or it is contributed by 5 or more persons which are entering in the premises, and by giving threat or fear to the person, they might loot the premises. So this type of robbery or the committing of this housebreaking is termed as dacoity. Larceny. Larceny is a theft. It is a type of theft. It is committed by a person who has got a right to be in the premises. So in many of the policies, you might have come across about this larceny. Larceny is excluded in some of the policies. What is larceny? It is a theft committed by a person who has got a right to be in the premises. So this type of the right in the premises, maybe the workers working in the premises, maybe the customer who is coming in the premises, they are having a right to come in the premises as a customer. But if any type of such larceny effected in certain or some of the policies, they are not covered. In some of the policies, those are covered. So these are some of the definitions.
Is it covered in burglary policy, larceny?
Burglary and housebreaking, we are not covering larceny. So that is again a separate part. If they want to cover the additional premium, some companies may give this type of cover, some may not. But these larceny generally are not covered because this is not coming under burglary. So in general, this is not covered, but by way of paying premium, if anybody is taking this type of cover and any insurer is giving, then that is a different question. But larceny generally not covered. Hold up, yes, it is a theft accompanied by assault. Theft is covered. Larceny, it is a different type of theft. It may cover, it may not cover. Hold up, theft accompanied by assault or violence or the threat of it to the insured or employees, irrespective of whether there is a forcible entry or not. So hold up is what? Theft accompanied by assault or violence, or that means when a customer is entering in the premises and he is having a revolver or pistol or whatever, and after coming in the premises as a rightful person, see a customer, and after coming in the premises after some time, the person may give a threat or a fear to the insured person, then in that case, it is termed as a forcible entry. And since it is termed as forcible entry, such type of holdup are covered under the burglary policy. Commonly, it is called as burglary and housebreaking policy. In other nomenclatures, it is called as burglary business premises policy. So this holdup is a part of burglary policy only, and it is covered.
Hello, sir.
Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, if that larceny you are telling that this is generally excluded.
Generally, it is a theft committed by a person who has got a right to be in the premises. So the person coming in the shop or coming in the premises may take away without the knowledge of the insured or the co-member or the employee. So it may happen.
So if it is by force or if it is by force, then what happens?
See, if that is in case of force, that will come under hold up. See,
hold up. Okay.
See, hold up is a theft accompanied by assault or violence or the threat. See, if there is any, that's why what I clarified, that when a person is entering in the premises with a rightful admission, that as a customer, he has entered the premises and he is having interaction with the employees or the owner, but after some time, he has given any force, any threat or any fear to that employee or the owner, then that is definitely treated as a forcible entry. So that is termed as a forcible entry afterward. Though it is a rightful entry at the beginning, it has turned to the forcible entry afterwards, and under hold up, then it is covered.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Key clause. This is again a very important clause which I will be discussing with you, because in certain examinations this question might have asked. And what is this key clause? The loss of cash from the safe following the use of the key to the said safe or any duplicate thereof belonging to the insured is not covered unless such key has been obtained by violence or threat or through means of force. See, any of the keys when the burglary premises, in the burglary premises, the owner or the employees may having the possession of the keys for that premises. Suppose if anything happens to the business premises after taking of these keys by violent means and the burglary happened, then this is covered. But if there is no force, or if there is no any of the threat, violence, and still the keys are in possession of that robber or that burglar and it is stolen, then it will not be covered. See, it may happen that there may be negligence on part of the insured, that the insured might have forgotten keys somewhere else, and those keys, those forgotten keys might be used by the persons and has done the burglary. So these type of claims on the merits are to be assessed, and this key clause is very important because the obtained these type of keys which are obtained by the burglar persons or the thieves are to be established as they are in the possession of those persons by violence means or of threat or fear to the insured person or the employee. This is a key clause. By mere loss of any of the keys of our insured person, the burglar or the thief might have done the burglary. So in that case, this key clause will operate, and it may happen that the claim is not payable. The key clause cannot be deleted even by payment of extra premium. So the insured person may come to you asking you to delete this key clause because it is definitely in the mind of that insured person that my keys may be lost, or it may happen that due to negligence those keys may be lost, so I will pay some extra premium for that and kindly remove this key clause. Still, for these type of any payment of extra premium is not entertainment, and this key clause is not deleted. Key clause A complete record of cash kept in the safe should be kept secured in some place other than the safe, and the liability of the insured is limited to the amount actually shown by such record. Definitely all these records has to be kept by the insured while submitting any claims, and under this key clause all these records are to be analyzed, ascertained, and then only the claim is payable. The keys of the safe or strong room shall not be left on the premises after the business hours. Again, this is very important thing under this key clause, that whatever are the keys of the safe and these keys of the safe or strong room, if those are left in the on the premises and the business hours are closed, if the burglary happens and after the burglary, the possession of the keys is very much easier to the persons who are there, and they may they will definitely take the cash or whatever are the things kept in the safe or strong room. So what our key clause states, that the keys of the safe or strong room shall not be left on the premises after business hours. So during business hours, yes, the keys are with the employer or maybe with the some of the employees, designated employees, but those are not to be left on the business premises after the business hours. So these are the points of key clause. As we discussed, what property we are covering in the burglary policy, there are certain property which are excluded unless specifically mentioned. So what are those excluded property? That is gold or silver articles. So it is mentioned that these type of property, what I am discussing with you right now, those are all excluded property. Those are all excluded property. But if the insured person mentioned these type of property, the insurer may cover these type of property. So what type of properties are there? Gold or silver articles, watches or jewelry or precious stones, cash and everything. So all these type of properties, those are generally excluded from the scope of cover of this burglary policy. But if the insured comes to you and he is willing to cover these type of property, then it is the option of the insured, and again the insurer also, whether to cover these type of property. If the insurer is agreeing to cover this type of property, then those will be the part of our burglary and housebreaking policy. But in general, these properties are excluded unless and until specifically mentioned. These type of properties are excluded from the scope of cover. Documents of any kind, manuscripts, medals, coins, yes, those are all excluded properties. But if at all insured wants to cover for certain sum insured, and if insurer agrees for that particular sum insured, that can be covered. Motor vehicles and accessories or livestock, these are certain things which are not covered by the insurers. Many of the things are not covered by the insurers, those specifically mentioned by the insured also while proposing the burglary policy. Generally these type of policies are, these type of properties are excluded from the scope of cover. The perils covered, yes, we all know: burglary, housebreaking of the property, following felonious entry of the premises, entry or exit by violent and forcible means, theft by a person in the premises who subsequently breaks out and by vigilant, visible and forcible means, damage to the premises by the burglars failing to be made good by the insured. So these are some of the insured perils which are insured. Exclusions, loss or damage. Any inmate or insured's family member or business staff is involved as principal or accessory. That means if the insured himself, that is willful intention of the insured, or the family member or the business staff, if they are involved in such type of burglary, those are not covered. These are specifically excluded from the scope of cover of this policy. By acts of person lawfully on the premises, that is larceny, We discussed earlier also that the larceny is not covered. Those are the exclusions under this policy. Consequent upon fire or explosion. So under if there is any fire or if there is any explosion occurred, and due to that the property is stolen, or due to that the business premises are taking possession by some of the other person, then in that case also this exclusion will come in picture. You might have come across this type of coverages in our fire policy. In fire policy, when this type of fire occurs, there may be theft of the premises. So there are certain clauses in our fire policy which takes care of this type of coverages. Loss of cash from the safe following the use of key or duplicate. Again, this key clause wherein the possession of the key is to be taken by way of robbery or hold up or forcible type of thing. Whenever there are any forcible type of things occur and the use of key is taken possession by that criminals, then that loss of cash is covered. Otherwise, it is not covered under the key clause of this policy. Earthquake and other natural perils. Yes, burglary does not cover any fire, earthquake, or these type of perils. Riot, strike, civil commotion. Yes, this is also exclusion, but by way of paying additional premium, you may cover this riot, strike, and civil commotion. SRCC, we commonly term it as, that can be covered by paying extra premium. War and likewise perils, the nuclear risk, the missile operation, or whatever risks which are attributed to the nuclear things or war type thing are excluded from the scope of cover. Premises left in uninhabited by day and night for 7 or more consecutive days and nights. It may happen that the premises will be left without any of the owner or the employer. There may not be any activities by more than 7 or more consecutive days and night. That means the premises is closed for say 7 days and night, more than 7 days and night. So if anything happens, if any burglary occurs and it is revealed that the premises was closed for 15 days, the premises closed for say 1 month, so in that case, what will happen? The premises is left and this type of exclusion will come in picture and these type of claims will not be entertained. So the insured has to be specifically give request to the insurer that the premises may be left and unoccupied for say 15 days for some reason. And if the insurer agrees, that okay, the premises are left, but still there is a CCTV camera, there are say armed guards which are there in the premises guarding this type of premises, in that case, okay, then this may as per the insurer this may be waived. But any premises which are left for more than say 7 days or 7 days and night, those will be excluded from the scope of cover.
Kaustubh sir, what is the difference? Kaustubh sir, what is the difference? Burglary policy, business premises, burglary policy, housebreaking.
See, burglary policy, business premises is a policy which we are generally giving to the the business premises, and housebreaking is part of that burglary policy. Burglary policy, the nomenclature says burglary in bracket, it is treated as a business premises.
Yeah.
See, I am staying in a home and I want to have a burglary policy, then that will not be a business premises, because the transaction of business is not happening in that premises. Okay. So those are some of the household policy or some gruha policy will be issued, because the stocks will not be covered, because the person insured will not be the owner of the business. So it is termed as burglary in bracket, normally termed as business premises, because this is given to the the persons who are doing the trading or manufacturing processes, and not the person who are at the who are the residential person.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sir. And
Thank you.
housebreaking is a part of the burglary only.
Okay. Thank you.
Conditions, yes, as we know, there are certain conditions, there are certain coverages, there are certain exclusions. What are the conditions? Just I'm interrupting. Sorry. What are the conditions? Indemnity, extent of intrinsic value of the property loss subject to the sum insured. So the basis of sum insured is the value of the property which is lost, but it is subject to the sum insured. So the value of the property may be more than the sum insured, then in that case under insurance will apply. The repair damage to property or premises insured is as per the indemnity. So it may happen that your customer or the insured person has taken the building and the furniture fixture fitting under a burglary policy, and the damages to this type of properties in the business premises, claims had come due to the damages by the persons, by the criminal person, then whatever are the repairing charges, the repairing or the replacement charges as per the qualified surveyor or the technical person, where it is submitted to the insurance company, those amounts or those values are payable at the time of claim. These are the conditions of the policies according to the principle of indemnity. So the principle of indemnity, as when it is applying like the policies of fire, that is applied in the policies of burglary also. So these type of conditions of indemnity is applied to the property, that is the property in the business premises, and for the damage to the property of that insured premises. Condition of pro rata average, I told you just now, under insurance, yes, the under insurance is applicable. Subrogation, contribution, all these type of conditions are applicable. The right of recovery, subrogation is what? It is a right of recovery. It is to be maintained, and the right of recovery of the insurer is there, and by way of subrogation it is protected. Contribution, yes, if there are two, that is more than one policies are involved, then definitely the claim is payable as per the principle of contribution. So fraudulent claim, yes, if there are any fraudulent claim, then those are not payable. And in case of fraudulent claim, there may be a question that we all know that fraudulent claims, the claim is not payable. But in fraudulent claims, the claims are not payable and the policy is cancelled without refund of any premium. So this point is to be noted, that in case of any fraudulent claim, the claim is not payable. Obviously, the claim is not payable, but if the claim is not payable, but still the policy is to be cancelled, and it is cancelled without any payment of premium. So it is to be understood by the conditions of this fraudulent claim, because this type of question may be asked. Arbitration and disclaimer, yes, arbitration we all know, if there is any dispute in the amount, the quantum settlement, then the arbitrators are appointed. Cancellation, again the same principle, cancellation by the insured, it is on short period basis. Cancellation by the insurer will be on pro rata basis. Reinstatement of sum insured, immediately upon the happening of any loss or damage as described in the policy, the total sum insured under the various description of the property which have been lost or damaged shall be reduced by the amount of loss. So reinstatement of sum insured, we all know that the amount of the sum insured is reduced by the amount which is lost. So this definitely is to be reinstated by paying additional premium, and it is to be reinstated to the full sum insured. So this reinstatement of sum insured is allowed by payment of additional premium, and this additional premium is to be paid after the claim settlement, and then the sum insured is reinstated. It may happen, I will narrate with you one of the fine example that the sum insured, there is a burglary, the sum insured is reduced, the amount of loss, it is under process, the sum insured is reinstated. The insured may come to you with the option of paying additional premium by saying that I have reinstated the full sum insured, now I want to pay the premium and I have to reinstate the sum insured. Though the claim is not paid fully or it is under process, whether the claim is payable or not payable, if the insured is coming to us saying that it is reinstated now and I am paying the premium, I want to reinstate the sum insured. So the option is given and the insurer may give this reinstatement of sum insured, because the normally what we know is that after the claim settlement, the reinstatement of sum insured is applicable. But it may happen that if the sum insured is not reinstated and again a burglary takes place in the same premises, there may be this possibility that the law of partial averages or the underinsurance may come in picture. So for that, the smart insured may come to you asking for the reinstatement of the sum insured. Special features, this policy contains the usual average clause. Yes, average clause is there under insurance. Insurance must be effected for the full value of property to be insured unless first clause basis is underwritten. What do you mean by full insured, full value of property, and what is meant by first clause? First clause is taken, the first clause policy is taken by the insured wherein the total loss of the property is virtually impossible. It may happen that the insured is having a burglary policy wherein the insured wants to opt for a policy under first clause basis because he is sure that the total value of the property will not be affected by the burglary, and definitely he will say that from the property some percentage of the property may be stolen, may be affected due to burglary, and I want to insure only that portion of my total value of the property. Can I insure that? Yes, the insurers are giving first clause policies to these insurers wherein certain percentage of first clause basis are covered. For example, if the insured comes to you stating that the total value of my property is say 1 crore, I want to insure it for say 25 lakhs. That is 25% of the total property. While issuing a first clause policy, we give this benefit to the insured, and by giving 50% discount, generally I'm talking about general discount of 50%, we can give such type of policy. Then what will be the sum insured? The sum insured will be not 1 crore, but the sum insured will be 25% of that full sum insured. So what will be the sum insured under the policy? It is 25 lakh. So if any, though there is the policy is issued on first clause basis, still the average clause is applicable for the first clause policy also. Please note that the average clause is applicable to first clause policy also, and whenever the insured is taking certain percentage, it is duty of the insured that the value of the stock, the total value of the stock, and again the percentage value affected in this first clause policy has to be correct. It should be adequate and there should not be any underinsurance. Say for example, the property value is 1 crore. The insured has opted 25% first loss basis coverage. At the time of claim, it is revealed, it is brought from by the notice from the surveyor to the insurance company that the value of property was 2 crore. The value of property was 2 crore. Definitely 25% first loss is taken by the insured, but 25% of the 2 crore comes to 50 lakhs. Whereas the insured has taken the policy for 25 lakhs. So there is an underinsurance, there is the average clause applicability of the 50%. So if any claims which is arising due to burglary, say for example, a claim of 10 lakhs has occurred in that business premises, and insured might come to you by saying that I have taken a policy for 25 lakhs as a first loss basis, then definitely this 10 lakhs has to be payable. But if it is revealed and if it is submitted as per the records by the surveyor or the chartered accountant that the value of the property was 2 crore and that insured has taken a benefit in by paying lesser premium, then in that case the underinsurance will apply, the average clause will apply, and the claim of 10 lakhs will come down to 5 lakhs and 50% claim will be payable. So though these first loss policies are issued, the average clause is applicable to first loss policies also. The probable highest amount at risk at any one time should be declared. So this is the probable highest amount is the sum insured which is to be taken under this burglary policy. Rating, I need not go in detail about the rating because the actual rating is non-tariff. But what are the features or what are the aspects which are very relevant while arrive at the rating are the premium rates depend upon the client. Yes, the client, how valuable the client is as per the premium which is booked from the client side to your insurance company. The situation of the risk, the property to be covered, situation of the risk. Yes, a crowded area or a safe locality area wherein there is no happening of any theft or burglary from last so many years, these type, or the residential areas or the industrial areas as a whole, then the situation of risk is a good risk. Whereas the isolated areas where there is only one single factory and none other factory is accompanied or by the side of that factory, then these type of situations are the risky situations, or these are the factors, hazardous factors considering the burglary policy. Because a remote place wherein a single factory is located, definitely the premises, the threat or the degree of hazard for the burglary is more as compared to the situation of the risks which are there in the crowded or the safe locality. Property to be covered, yes, how valuable the property is, accordingly the rating will differ. That is, the property of the valuable, the jewelry or the watches or certain these type of things, or it may happen that the articles which are very loose, the garment factories or the garment store, these are the properties which are easily stolen. These are very much easily can be taken possession by these criminals. But whereas if the properties are of factories wherein the metal formation or any of the machineries are manufactured, so all these machineries or the metals, those are very heavy in their nature. So these type of property are difficult to be stolen, very difficult by these type of criminals to take possession. So these are the safe properties, whereas certain other properties, as I described, the saris, the ready-made garment, the valuables, these are the properties which are riskier. The proposals are risky, and definitely the loading is more, the rates are more. Precautions for protection. Nowadays, normally we ask for the CCTV cameras, the fire burglar alarm, the security guards, the 24 hours watchman, and according to the security arrangements done by the insured, there may be discount. So as per the protection facility or the precautions taken by the insured, the rating is different. Though we are discussing these type of the relevant things attributed to the rating, the question may be asked wherein the rates are given and maybe the properties are given to you to understand, then you ought to know what will be the riskier property as for the burglary and housebreaking coverages, and what are the safe property. Higher or lower rates may be charged and protective measures imposed if felt necessary, considering the hazard involved. So these are some of the factors which are related to the rating. Reduction in the rate for stock in bulk, as I told you earlier. Whenever there are large sum insured, the reduction in rate is possible. Increase in rate where chances of major loss in single incident. Definitely, if the sum insured at any one point of time is going to lose by way of this burglary, the rate is to be charged more. And for bulk or major large stock, where the total burglary is hardly impossible, then in that case, reduction of rate is available. Cash, valuables in burglar proof safe. Yes, that is a point for rating. First loss policy, the percentage 90% to 50%, the premium is charged. It varies from 25% to 90%. That is the sum insured as well as the premium. Say for example, if the insured opts for 25% of the first loss policy sum insured, the premium will be 50% of the total premium you would have charged for the total sum insured. So this discounts may be offered for first loss policy. Declaration policy, yes, the burglary policy, when we are issuing, there may be policies which are on declaration basis. We have understood the burglary policy, normal burglary policy, the first loss policy, and now the declaration policy, burglary declaration policy. Burglary declaration policy is that the declaration from the insured on monthly basis is submitted to the insurance company, and at the end of the year, the retention of premium, minimum retention is there as per the policy condition, and if more than retention, whatever is the premium, it is to be refunded to the insured if the policies are issued on declaration basis. So for normal burglary or first loss basis, this declaration facility is not given, but this declaration policy is a separate declaration policy which the insured may opt for. So the declaration policy can be given. Underwriting consideration, moral hazard of the proposer, yes, we know the physical hazard of the property and the moral hazard of the proposer. The moral hazard of the proposer is very important underwriting consideration for burglary, all risk, jewelers block policy. So all these type of policy wherein the properties, the valuable property or the burglary or housebreaking is considered, then the moral hazard of the proposer is involved. Survey of the risk, yes, the inspection or the survey of the risk is very important underwriting consideration to ascertain whether 24-hour security guard is there, CCTV is there, or burglar alarm is installed, whether that premises is how much far away from the authorities of the government, like police authorities or authorities. So accordingly, the rates are described or given. So these are the underwriting consideration. Regular stock taking and audit once a year. As I told you, moral hazard is important. The regular stock taking and audit nowadays, all these audits and regular stock taking is computerized. It is IT related. So it is all the stocks or all the audits are done on computer basis. So it is whenever these are done, by way of computers, that is IT infrastructure is there, those are good underwriting consideration. Avoiding loading premium for small articles with high value, example jewelry, that is when you are covering the sum insured, say for example for a very small articles of jewelry in a 1 kg or 2 kg pieces, the values will be high. Those values will be in crores. Say for example 2 crores of jewelry, the value will be in crores. So these type of high values, definitely there will be loading of the premium if you want to cover, or you may avoid, or you tend to avoid such type of risk, because these type of proposals are generally avoided. These are the underwriting consideration. These are not accepted by the insurer considering their hazard. So these may be avoided, or if considered, the loading of premium has to be there. Correct description of goods. Yes, as I told you, nowadays all the IT infrastructures are there. The correct description of goods related to the goods held in trust and or commission or cash, currency, valuable. So correct description of goods, the correct amount of the goods, whatever things are there, you have to mention, and these are the underwriting consideration. Separate sum insured for stock, cash, goods in trust, as I told you right now. There are certain underwriting considerations regarding safe, regarding separate fire policy, whether the property has a separate fire policy or not. The coverages of cash and money, whether those are kept in safe, almirah or cash box. All endorsements and warranties are to be attached. So types of policies, I told you, full value policy, nomenclature was normal policy from my end. It was full value policy, non-declaration or declaration. First loss policy, I already narrated to you the first loss policy. All the description is there in the PPT. We'll share you the PPT also. First loss policies, some percentage of full cover and premium to be charged. It is shown in this table. For 25%, what is the chargeable premium, and accordingly it varies. So this is a first loss policy. Declaration policy, I told you that these type of policies are given wherein the declaration are to be taken from the insured, and in that declaration policy, the provisional policy premium or the retention of the policy premium is maybe in a dispute, because earlier that was 35% retention, it may be 50% retention. So it may there may be a difference that the retention of policy premium is 50% or 35%. If this type of ambiguity, if it comes, then definitely the questions will not be asked. So you rest assured, but generally now 50% of the premium is to be retained. This is very important. Floating policy, yes, floating policy can be given for this burglary policy. The floater policies are available for this burglary policy, that the goods may be in more than one location, and insured want to cover the burglary for these policies under floater cover. These policies can be given, but the underwriting consideration is that this is to be issued to the well-known client. These policies are to be issued to the well-known client with a good moral hazard and who are keeping the good record. Valued policies, again, valued policies are agreed value policy. Apart from the stock, they want to cover these type of painting, pictures and curious antique. Generally, these policies are avoided. Generally, these policies are not issued. Inventory and valuation clause. Yes, there is inventory and valuation clause inserted, or it is a part of the policy, wherein the burglary policy is a contract of indemnity and insured requires to produce invoices and other evidence of cost to establish his claim. I told you that all the records are now available due to the IT infrastructure. So these type of clauses are applicable in burglary policy. Risks to be avoided, I have given some of the risks which are not a good risk and which are to be avoided. We are not generally giving the policies to these risks. That is jewelers, the precious stone dealers, watchmakers, goldsmiths, silversmiths, curious, etc. Documents required for claim procedure: a claim form, police FIR. Yes, police FIR is very important. Investigation report, the copy of final investigation report, and certain documents which are part of the claim are to be submitted. There are certain clauses which we'll discuss tomorrow, because the pair and set clause or the all risk policy, the baggage policy, these we'll discuss tomorrow when we'll start our session. For today, we are summing up with the personal accident, group personal accident, student safety, and the burglary business premises. We'll continue again tomorrow from where we left today. And I end today's session here only. Thank you. Thanks for listening. Thank you very much. Whatever your questions are there, you can very well come to us tomorrow also. We'll definitely discuss, because that will be benefited to all. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.